Hey everyone, Susan here with Little Fur Fleece and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to show you a very quick version of sewing my triangle house. The first thing that I start with is the potty pads. On every project that is what I sew first, and after I sew them I go ahead and trim off the excess, turn it inside out, poke out the corners, and then I hand stitch it. Now for the triangle pads, I use a chopstick to get all the way down in there and poke it out because it's the utensil that I found that works the best for me. Now, some of you may not want to hand stitch. It took me a long time to decide that that's the way that I like how my pads look. And so I do a ladder stitch or invisible stitch, and that just to me looks a little bit nicer in my finished product. Once I've hand sewn the potty pads closed, I will go ahead and top stitch all around, and it keeps all the padding inside in place. The next step is to sew the circle on the front of the house, and this has two pieces of fleece that are facing each other around a piece of foam. So once I sew that circle, I cut out the excess, trim around it so that it makes it nicer and cleaner for the opening. After that, I take the back side or whatever side and push it through to the front side and pin it together. And then I baste the whole thing together so that no shifting happens for the following steps that I'm going to be doing. I do this with each piece. So there is two front pieces, there is two side pieces, and two triangle pieces, one for the top and one for the bottom. And as you can see, that's what I'm doing here. I'm actually basting the side pieces, and then I am doing the triangle piece. Now, the next step is to top stitch each one of these. And this keeps the foam in place so that it doesn't shift when your animal is using it or when you put it in the washing machine. But I like to use about 1.5 inches from the edge of the foam. So you'll see that I'm using my ruler and I'm feeling where that foam is, and then I'm just sewing a straight line till I get to the very end. And I put 2 lines on the front pieces, 2 lines on the side pieces, and then 3 for the triangles. And like I said, it just helps to keep it all in place and it doesn't shift or bunch up in the wash. Then the next step is to sew the two front pieces together. And typically what I'll do is I'll just kind of pin them together, make sure that everything is lined up correctly, not one foam is higher than the other. After I sew that together, I do clip off the excess. And the next step will be to sew on the sides. So you go ahead and pin those together and stitch down, and then cut off the excess, and the same thing with the other side. After the sides are sewn on, I take it over to my table and I will place the triangle on top. And right sides facing together, I line it up so that the point is lined up with the center of the two pieces that I sewed together for the front. That just makes it so it's aesthetically correct. And there's a little bit of fiddliness with this because sometimes it will shift because it is a pretty thick piece of fabric. You've got 4 pieces of fleece that you're dealing with, and then you've also got the foam that is trying to push your project one way or another. So once I get those triangle pieces sewn on, then it's time to stitch them to the side. And once all of the sides are sewn together, then you see here I am sewing the very back together. And some people may leave that back open in order for you to be able to turn it right side out, but my front opening holes are big enough that I can turn my project right side out without having to hand stitch that one closed. So after everything is completely sewn and all of the edges are trimmed, I do take my lint brush, about 5 or 6 sheets, and make sure that all of that excess floof is brushed off of that item, because we certainly don't want any animal to be breathing in fleece dust. Um, so once that's all done and I turn it right side out, I'm sorry you can't see much of it here. My camera angle was not the best, but here it is all turned out and finished product as well as finished potty pads. So thanks so much for watching. Let me know if you have any questions or if you'd like to see the tutorial for one. Bye!